All right.
Confirmed.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I know y'all missed us. I know y'all missed us, but we are back with the
Three
pillars.
of man.
Yes, yes. So, me and my brother here, life's been lifing, man. I got things I'm doing and he has things he's trying to build. And so, we just had a little hiatus here about, what, 2 months, right?
Yeah,
Since the
basically.
last time we did our episode. Uh, we appreciate y'all being patient with us. Like we said, life is lifing. And, not only do we talk about building goals, but we're trying to actively go out there and build our goals. But this is going to be a pretty, semi-short episode. Going forward, we're trying to make the episodes more impactful instead of, I feel like, last episodes that we've done, it's been more like just conversation and everything.
Yeah.
But I think what, we've talked about, like maybe shortening the episodes, really just talking about the meat and potatoes of like what we're trying to achieve in each episode.
Yeah.
But the title of this episode is called When the Answer Comes Differently, Why We Resist the Path to Our Own Prayers. So there's a strange moment that happens in a man's life that doesn't get talked about enough. You've been asking for something, praying for it, working toward it, a better career, more discipline, a stronger body, a clearer purpose, a new level in life. And then the opportunity shows up. The door opens, the season shifts. The thing you've been asking for is finally within reach. But instead of excitement, you feel hesitation. You slow down. You second guess it. You start pulling back. Not because you don't want it, but because it doesn't look the way you imagine. You had a vision of how it would happen. You thought you'd feel more ready. You thought it would be smoother. You thought it would come at a different time. You thought you'd enter it more confidently. But instead, it comes with pressure, with uncertainty, with a version of yourself you haven't fully stepped into yet. So now you're in a position where you prayed for it, but you're resisting it. And that creates a real internal conflict because part of you knows this is the opportunity, but another part of you is uncomfortable with the process. And the truth is, sometimes it's not that God hasn't answered your prayer, it's that He answered it in a way that requires you to grow into it. So the real question becomes, why do we hesitate when we're finally stepping into what we asked for? So, my brother, how does what I said there apply to the mind, body, and spirit? Or how does that personally resonate with you?
Yeah, I would say personally, like I've gone through the process of in real estate, you've got 30, 60 days out before
Hmm.
you actually get to see your results. And I've talked about that before, that it's one of those things where you don't it teaches you patience. It teaches you not to count the outcome before
Hmm.
it's here.
Right.
And to me, that also runs into the idea of you want something, you're working towards something, and you know that it's going to take a longer time
Hmm.
to get to that result. And then a lot of times when you get closer to that, so whether it's a big deal, whether it's you're working on a system and that system starts to work,
Hmm.
and then you start getting to the point of like, okay, we're getting a lot of leads in now, right?
Right.
We were just working on our system for lead management, like how we're getting leads.
Yep.
It completely turned off everything else and only focused on this one avenue
Yep.
just to get it going, and it started to work, and it's working now. But we started getting a lot of leads in,
Yep.
and then I'm like, but is this working? Like, or is there actual, And so I start kind of pushing back on maybe we need to maybe we need to make a change. Maybe we need to shift here. Maybe we need to, edit it to where it's making a better conversion.
Yep.
And so there's certain things like that where, to me, that's how that resonates to me is, these things start working, and then you're like, is this working the way that I wanted it to?
Hmm.
Is this correct? Like, is this how this is supposed to go? And then you start second guessing yourself, like you mentioned.
Yep.
And then for me, what I would naturally do is like, okay, well, I'm just going to make a few tweaks on on it, and then we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah.
Where what I've learned recently is just follow the process. Trust the process of what you've got going on. You
Right.
set it in place
You've
for a
already
reason,
set it in place. Yeah.
and just let it do its thing and just don't touch anything else.
Right.
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 I did a YouTube video where it's like I keep breaking things and then I'll fix it, and then I
Mhm.
break something else and I fix it, and then we never progress upward.
Right.
We always just kind of fall back down,
Yeah.
and then we fix it and break it, and then we fall back down because we're always editing something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've learned recently just to have faith in the process.
Yeah. Do you feel like being perfectionist can, because that's what when I hear that it sounds like you're kind of this like perfectionist where you want things to be it gotta be this way. If it's not this way, I'll scrap it and then I'll redo it again. You feel like that works against you sometimes?
So I don't know if it's perfectionism for me. I
Right.
don't know if it's perfection. I think it's um, I like things to work the way that my hmm, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so that could be actually perfectionism.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that definitely works against you, and whatever the label is, yeah, I do think that that works against you
Yeah.
because the process of just fix it and leave it is a hard thing
Hard
to
thing to do.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
No.
how does that kind of resonate with you? Is it the same?
Yeah, it's the same, man. I'm definitely a perfectionist. I do envision things going a certain way, and I will work my hardest to make sure it goes that way that I've envisioned. And if it doesn't, like it doesn't matter if I'm like on, like let's say there's 10 steps. I could be on step 8, and then if I'm on step 8 and it's different than what I've envisioned, I have no problem scrapping it and going back to step 1,
Uh,
even though I was literally 2 steps away from achieving what I needed to achieve.
yeah.
Um, I think that that can be beneficial sometimes,
Hmm.
but there are times where like, and there's situations where you just need to get this completed,
Hmm.
get this done. And so I feel like I feel like in the beginning it's worked, it's benefited me
Yeah.
because I have a vision in place now. I'm excited about it because like I've envisioned it. Now I can get started. But I
Right.
think once you get to a certain level of accomplishing whatever you're trying to accomplish, even if it go, if you thought you were supposed to go right, but you're going left, but it's still a part of the overall of you achieving the goal,
Right.
then you have to learn to accept that. And I think also for me, it's just surrendering that control, right? Because there are times in the journey of like you achieving a goal where like you don't necessarily know what the next step is going to look like.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to really step on faith. And a lot of that is not only like asking God or, even like just you doing the necessary things, right? Like you got to accept when it's going left, even though you thought it was going to go right.
Yeah.
You got to accept that,
Yeah, that's
okay,
true.
you just got to accept that, hey, I know it's going left, but I know it's still going to take me to where I need to go.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's where I can struggle with sometimes is like if it naturally if I'm thinking it's supposed to go right and it goes left, I'll I'll pull it before it goes left and
Yeah.
try to force it to go right.
Right.
And sometimes that's you just you just you ruin that by trying to force the issue instead of like organically let it get to where you need to get to.
So there's something I read the other day where it's like it's the process of understanding like pulling things towards you, usually they go away,
Right.
right?
Right.
If you push things away, they usually come closer
Hmm.
and in a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And then goals are very similar in the idea of if you set your goal, don't if you want to achieve that goal in peace,
Yeah.
then don't create ripples in the water around you
Yeah, I like
on the
that.
way to the goal,
Yeah, I
right?
like
Like
that.
don't get distracted with this.
Hmm.
Don't. Don't, you start to achieve the goal and then you go and buy the car, you go and buy this, right?
Hmm.
And you're causing ripples in the process to your goal,
Yeah.
because you're touching the water. So if you want to move in peace and you want to achieve that goal at a quicker rate, try not to rock the boat too much. And
Right,
and
right. You gotta
and
let the boat just naturally
mhm.
glide you to where you need to get to.
Yeah, and that was something that I was reading, and I was like, huh, that kind of applies to what we're talking
Hmm.
about. Is like, if
Hmm.
you want to get to that place, try not to cause too many ripples on the way there so that your ride is not choppy.
Right. And I feel like the ripples can be like you overthinking it,
Mm-hmm.
overthinking the process of you achieving your goals,
Mm-hmm.
or even just like distractions, like it could, like, for example, it could be something as simple as, well, I'll just give my example, right? So my goal right now, especially in like professional wise, is trying to enter a space of like ultimate goal is to be in like leadership,
Mm-hmm.
executive, whether it's for a company or for my own, right? So some type of leadership role, right? So now I feel like I'm entering into that space, right? And it's like things are just kind of happen naturally where, I had one conversation with my manager about like, hey, this is how I envision my career happening within the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And then literally probably the next couple of weeks, he's like, oh yeah, I've talked to the director of project management. He said that he start like a mentor program where he's going
Mm-hmm.
to bring in some junior people like yourself to tag along with a project manager. That way you can learn about like the business of how
Right.
of power generation. And it's like, oh, it's like, wow, okay. I wasn't expecting that to happen so quickly.
Yeah.
And so I think the ripples of it can be like, oh yeah, I don't know, I'm trying to, I want to wait until I get married first and
Mm-hmm.
make sure that my life's stable, and
Right.
I'm probably going to move within the next, like, you're trying to like come up with all of these excuses
Mm-hmm.
that's going, like you said, the ripples
Yeah.
that's going to make the boat, instead of naturally organically going this way, because you're kind of doing this to the water,
Mm-hmm.
you're making the water all choppy. Now you're going to a whole different direction that you caused.
Yeah.
So I think that's that, like what you just said resonated with me, because I catch myself doing that where it's like you're trying to make sure like you're in the perfect spot
Mm-hmm.
for the goal to happen. And a lot of times, and it's funny, man, I listened to my pastor a couple of times, and he was saying how like sometimes God presents a goal for you to grow into instead of like just cookie cutter just handing it
Right.
off to you. Um, because I feel like personally, when you can grow into a goal, you'll appreciate more of it
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be more grateful versus like if I just give it to you, you could squander it.
Yeah.
So no, that's a good example, bro. But how do you feel like what we just talked about now applies to your overall mind, body, and spirit?
So I mean, and that's kind of the reason why I brought that up was,
Hmm.
do you think that it would be do you think it would be better for your mind and your soul to move with something with faith, to
Hmm.
move with something with peace, versus trying to grab onto or ripple the water in any other way, where
Right.
it's like naturally the thought process is like, you asked for this, you're heading in that direction,
Yep.
these opportunities, which is everything,
Hmm.
is coming up and popping up and kind of coming in that way, but you're moving in a faithful way where it's like, I don't know how this turns out, but I do know that it turns out the way that I need it to,
Right.
and I've got to release the pull. I've
Yep.
got to release the push.
Yep.
I've got to move in peace
Hmm.
and faith that it all works out,
Yep.
right? And so which one is going to present easier on the body, what is going to present easier on the mind, and what's going to
Hmm.
present easier on the soul.
Yeah.
Um, and I've been a very chaotic person when it comes to achieving goals and trying to do the things that I want.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm starting to learn this method of just I'm letting things go, but it's all based off of I know that I'm putting in action to walk the path.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I think you said something critical there. You're already doing the work.
Hmm.
You're just letting the outcome of you're kind of letting go of like the outcome of the
Hmm.
work that you're putting in.
Yeah.
So that I think that's the biggest thing. You can't because the reason why I say it's a critical thing because it's like you're not just sitting there being like not doing nothing. You're like, okay, whatever happens, happens.
Right.
I'm like, well, hey, there's nothing gonna happen if
Yeah.
you're not doing anything. It's just like keep it simple. It's like you say you want to get stronger or lose weight. It's like you can't just sit there and be like, hey, I'm not gonna do nothing, but whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Well, more than likely,
You've got to put your place in the,
right,
you got to put your body through stress
right,
to
man,
achieve muscle growth. You've
right,
got to achieve these things like the mental growth. You've got to put yourself in a stressful situation.
yeah.
However, you've got to have faith that it all
That's
is
all
going to
gonna,
work out.
yeah. But yeah, man, I think the same way as when it comes to this topic about the mind, body, and spirit. I think from a mind perspective, you just gotta be aware of like what's causing this tension within you,
Hmm.
especially if it's something that you've truly prayed about and really have, put some serious work in, it's like, okay, why? Okay, I'm getting to my goal, but why am I creating this internal tension with
Hmm.
myself? And I think that's the main thing is just being aware of it. Because when you're aware of it, then you can start working towards correcting it.
Hmm.
I think sometimes you can self-sabotage yourself and you're not even aware that you're doing it,
Yeah.
because in your mind, you're thinking, well, these are actual legit excuses,
Yeah.
like the example I just gave about this kind of this new path I'm entering to with my job. It's like, oh, I want to wait until I'm married. I want to wait till I find
Hmm.
a stable home and all that. But it's like, I mean, these are legit concerns and legit reasons, but
Yeah.
it's like, okay, if not now, then when?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And are you willing to risk this potential opportunity
Right.
for outcomes that you don't even
Even
control?
bro, right? Like who's to say, this whole thought of like, okay, within a year we're gonna find a house. Well, if that doesn't happen within a year.
Hmm.
So now you're essentially sacrificing a 90% opportunity that's going to happen for a
Yeah.
50%.
On something you can't control if it happens or not.
Exactly. So I think for me, mind wise, is just being aware of like what's causing that internal tension. And then I believe once you start, I'm gonna go mind, spirit, then body.
Hmm.
Because I like how you tied the mind and spirit and then the body responds. So I feel like once you're aware of that, then from a spirit perspective, you have to. I've learned that faith is not only about asking, but accepting.
Hmm.
So, we ask that God give me the right, discernment or provide me the right direction or put me in the right direction
Hmm.
of where I need to go so I can achieve this. And sometimes we don't accept
Hmm.
what's going to happen when we ask for these
Hmm.
things. And so I've learned that, faith is not only about asking, but you gotta accept and surrender whatever comes your way,
Right.
and so, I've asked for this, I prayed for it, I worked towards this, trying to enter a more of a leadership role with my career. And now that it's starting to come to fruition, it's like now it's I still I'm starting to, you know, be more of like, you know what, I'm here.
Mm.
You know, I think it's more about just being grateful. Like, man, I'm here. This is what I asked for. This is what I'm trying to achieve. So now I'm in more of the accepting faith, right? Where it's like, okay, yeah, I might not be the most confident in this area or
Yeah.
I might not be in the best shape of my life like I thought I was going to be when I was going to enter into this
Hmm.
phase of my career, or I might not be the most confident in what I know, or, I might not be the most, the, you have these stipulations you put on you, these
Right.
imaginary stipulations that you say, I need to be this, 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 and this before I even get to my goal. But I think for me, I've had to accept that this is a goal that God's going to grow me into versus
Yeah.
like just handing it to me just on a silver platter.
Right.
And honestly, man, once I've accepted that, it's like, I don't know, now it's like, you know what? Yeah, man, let's get into it, man.
Life's a
Cause
little bit easier.
yeah, it's like once I've accepted that and let go of that control, man, it's just like now I start to get the excitement because it's like now it's like, okay, I'm really starting to now I'm about to start like grinding again.
Hmm.
Cause I'll say for me, everything's been good. You know how sometimes you can kind of enter like a
Hmm.
autopilot where, you're 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 at a good place in life where like it's some things are challenging, but then some things are not.
Hmm.
I'm kind of like in this autopilot plateau, but now it's like, okay, God's entering me into I'm about to get married. That presents its whole challenges. I'm about
Hmm.
to enter into a space in my career where it's about to get stressful. I'm about to be traveling a lot. Then I gotta figure out how to navigate that with, not only my future wife, but within myself. So like now I'm about to get into this like I gotta be on my A game. And
Hmm.
so sometimes it's like, man, this I'll say I'll say originally I was like, man, am I ready for this? Am I ready to get back on my grind? Like how I was like when
Hmm.
I was like first just starting out by myself.
Yeah.
But then like once I've accepted that this is where God wants to take me, I can't go backwards.
Yeah.
So it's like now it's like I'm starting to get that excitement again. And
Yeah.
like now that's like transitioning to like me hitting the gym even harder. Me, instead of like making excuses like, damn, I can't make jujitsu.
Hmm.
It's like I gotta make time for stuff now.
Yep.
So it's like I'm building this excitement again that honestly, man, I haven't had in a while.
I like that.
And so that's where I'm like, that's where I feel like this is the spirit of it, where it's like I've accepted that this is a goal that God's going to have to grow, that's God's making me grow into. So now that I've accepted it, now my body's like, yes,
All
like
right. Let's wake up in the
yeah,
morning.
let's wake up. Let's wake up. I'm waking up early again.
Mhm.
I'm hitting the gym early again. It's like, man, even last week I did a 2 a day at the gym. I haven't done that, and I was just feeling good that day. I was like, man,
Yeah.
I'm not sore. Sure, I can get another workout in.
Yeah.
Now it wasn't like how I was in the morning,
Yeah.
but I still got some more work in. So yeah, man, it's overall, man, I feel like once you've accepted that, hey, this is how this is gonna go when it comes to achieving my goal,
Yeah.
your body kind of naturally like starts to amp you up for
Hmm. They
because
said stimulus.
right,
Yeah.
right. Because you're not trying to like force the issue, you're not trying to control it.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you try to control it, your body seems more stressed. You're more of like, oh God, like I'm trying. Oh, okay, this is going left. I need to make sure it goes right. Oh, I gotta figure out how to put this square this square into a circle peg. Like
Hmm.
you're trying to make things shake when all you just gotta do is just sit back and
Yeah.
just
Chill
continue
for a
to
minute.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And
So
you just do what you're supposed to do.
that's it, man.
I
But
like that.
but yeah, man. So appreciate everybody tuning in to the Three Pillars of Man. Like, share, subscribe. Again, like I've always said in previous episodes, man, we're just two brothers here, just real kind of grassroots effort. We're not putting too much into like equipment, cameras, and all that, but going forward, I feel like we're both kind of back in action now. We're gonna make sure that even just more consistent. We start to see a little bit of growth, man. And again, it's just like how we talked about. It's just, as long as we continue to stay consistent, man, we're gonna let this grow how God wants us to let it grow. And we appreciate y'all tuning in.
Amen.
Peace.